And they say, who are you? I say, sir, that question is unnecessary. I aced the examination. I deserve this institution. They say, no, who are you? Do you know the chancellor? Are you friends with the governor? Do you down with the
Loud Silence Radio,
Is your father
keeping you informed
Are you
24
related to
hours a day.
Tell me, do you own the monitor? Do you have enough money? Who are you? Do I have to be a jagaband to listen to a band? Do I have to wear Versace to eat sushi? Do I have to be guarded by cops to visit Transcorp? Do I have to wear gold trinkets to take pictures on the red carpet? Must I use an iPhone to sit on the front row? Why can't they just see me for me? Why does my worth have to be determined by the money in my account, or the cartel in my fount, or the words in my mouth, or the degrees that I have, or the selfies on Facebook, which most are not even real, the followers on Twitter, they don't make me any better. They say exercise your franchise, go cast your votes. So I comply to determine who sails the boat. And on getting there, I found out that they've already decided. Without me. When I talk, they say who's talking. When I write, they say who's writing. Even when I laugh, they say who's laughing. They don't say, oh, they just want to know now host don't pay. But I take two, I take pop at the end of the day and at the same hot hotel. Don't get too comfortable. Even sure bet is not so sure. One commits a crime and his name rings a bell, they say bail him. Another commits a crime and is not in the Hall of Fame, they say jail him. Hell, cell, criminal, you accursed son of Hades must pay for this. Or the criminal is the one without money? When I speak out of turn, they ask me, who the hell do you think you are? I tell you who the heaven I think I am. I'm the voice of one crying in our nation, Hosanna. I'm the beginning of a new era, the end of injustice and the beginning of power. I'm a skyscraper of peace and a trailblazer of unity. I'm young, I'm vibrant, I'm strong, I'm intelligent. I'm a million microchips, I'm definitely for keeps. I've got the energy they lack and courage back to back. I'm a story to be told and a wonder to behold. I'm more than a conqueror, greater than a governor. I'm from a deity of divinity, from a tribe of lions, no chain can bind us. I'm a time bomb waiting to explode. I'm history waiting to happen. I'm like the current of an ocean. You can't stop my flow. One day surely we go blow. I'm the correction of their past mistakes. I'm the activation of your future estates. I'm a product of grace. I've got length of days. I'm hope for this generation. I'm the celebrity you see on television. I'm a believer. I believe that this nation can be better because we are a people of bold and truth. And because of me, because of us, because of our collective voices, who are you? This is a question everybody has been asked one time or the other from one person or another. What's your pedigree, they say. Fame is not for free. That differentiates the people that drink tea from the people that sow Gary. Last I checked, we're all people. You can't sit there, they say. It's reserved, it's well deserved. A name has been carved. It's for celebrity, not for non-entity who's got no ability or financial stability, who can't even afford utility, so bounce you liability. Who are you, they say.
It is not our ethnicity or religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. End of quote. As responsible citizens, we owe it a duty to ourselves, our nation, and the next generation to ensure we are vocal on matters of national interest, not because we hate anybody, but because we rather love everyone. Our love for others should, however, not cow us into submission, which will result in timidity and fear of speaking the truth. As always said, and I quote, a breach of common sense is certainly a breach of all rules, end of quote. And as we as citizens must stay awake, stay the course, and make it a priority to put our leaders on their toes. Let them know we are watching them closely, because we expect them not to only deliver, but do things the right way all the time. To those who only criticize us, but not provide any concrete
Loud
solution,
Silence Radio,
please be reminded
keeping
that
you informed
even a dead
24
clock,
hours a day.
yes, even a dead clock shows correct time twice a day. We are relevant till we die. To join us, you must make it a habit to either walk like a king or walk like you don't care who the king is. Ladies and gentlemen, listening to me from across the world, everywhere in the world, this is the new voice of the people, the voice that separates facts from noise. This is Loud Silence Radio. Hi, my name is Kevin Taylor. I'd like to welcome you officially to the maiden edition of With All Due Respect Extended Version of Loud Sound Radio. I promised you guys this is going to be a packed show. Even though it's the maiden edition, yes, I know people are eager to hear the audio that transpired between Gabby Ochudako, Bamti, that's Edward the president and his brother, and Philip Ayesu. That audio will be played today for the whole world to hear what went on. As I promised this Tuesday, I'll play an audio, and I'm going to do it today. This is Loud Silence Extended Version. This audio will deal a lot from the presidency all the way to the last messenger in this government. Talking about PDS, talking about the biggest scandal to hit this country, Ghana, since independence. We will also be having a conversation with Larry, who is the editor of the Herald newspaper, and we'll get his views on the PDS scandal. The reason why we're talking to Larry is because the Herald newspaper broke the PDS story. They broke it first, and with all due respect, they picked it up and we made sure brothers and sisters back home in Ghana go to know the details and the hidden causes in the PDS scandal. We shall also talk to a private legal practitioner, lawyer Idudzi Kujo Tamaklo. Yes, lawyer Idudzi Kujo Tamaklo. It's a thick name. Who has special interest in white-collar crimes. We will also get his views on the legal aspect of the whole PDS saga. If the deal was cancelled because of fraud, as stated by the Energy Minister Peter Amewu some time ago, and the government itself came out to say that, then I think some people should be facing the law court. Some people should be facing the law, actually. Now we'll be asking so many questions. Who caused financial loss to the state? Who has caused a lot of loss to Ghana? We will be asking such questions on this show, and as I promised, it's a packed show. But if you want to enjoy the show uninterrupted, then you have to do one or two things. The first thing you have to do is you can follow us on Loud Silence Radio. Just download our app, Loud Silence Radio. It's compatible on iOS and also on Android. You can also follow us on YouTube by subscribing to our page, Loud Silence Radio and TV Network. Watch us live on Facebook on our page, With All Due Respect, on Facebook. You can also join in through conversations. Yeah, you can text us on +1. Actually, when you're texting from Ghana, +1 202 751 8769. 202 751 8769. I'm going to take this again. If you want to listen to us uninterrupted, if you want to get all the news, the facts, if you want to separate the facts from the noise, you just have to follow us. Download our radio app, Loud Silence Radio. Loud Silence Radio. It's accessible on Android and also accessible on the iOS. That's on if you have an iPhone. You can also follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our page. And our page is Loud Silence Radio and TV Network. Watch us live on Facebook as I speak. I can see myself speaking on Facebook. Technology is cool. And you can watch us, go on the page, With All Due Respect page. You can also join us through text message because at this point, the reason why we're doing this, the reason why we're doing radio today, the reason why we're moving With All Due Respect from Facebook and expanding the conversation on radio is because we want you, the people, you, our followers, Ghanaians, to be part of the conversation. We want you people to express your views, your concerns. Sometimes you want to make commendations. Sometimes you want to at least, in fact, sometimes you just want to say some good things to people in power. We don't always have to be bashing them. Sometimes when they do good things, we have to, at the end of the day, commend them for the things they do. You can join us through WhatsApp chat. It's +1 202 751 8769. I'm going to take a short commercial. Um, Baduso Emmanuel, he says, reporting alive. Edem Boniface again, Anthony says, they will say NDC gave you money to put up this fine studio. At the end of the day, what is most important is we're going to make sure that we fight corruption. It doesn't matter who gave who what, or whoever is financing it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, are we doing the right thing? At the end of the day, are we fighting corruption? Our mission is simple: fight corruption. Our mission is simple: expose people who we pay with our tax money, civil servants, very corrupt individuals in our country dragging Ghana back. That is what we want to do. So we don't want to read meanings into such things people say. We just want to be focused, as I always say. When you're focused, you get to the last cent. To Daniel Kweku Theo Ajongo, he says, congratulations on the positive mission. Richard Kofi Ago, I'm here now. Gideon Botry says, afternoon, Kevin. Me Ado Kwenu says, vintage Kevin. Oh, that's nice, man. This is coming from Adadit Susie. Wow, Kevin, may God bless you. In fact, I'm really happy because of the good work done. Thank you very much. Michael Averiye says, watching from Atlanta. Destin TV, watching live. Richard Kofi Ago, no matter what they say or do, we are going to save Mother Ghana. This is a conscious one. Big Wig Asante says, good day, Chairman. Good day, sir. Richard Kuchedi, your studio looks fabulous. Thank you very much, Richard. Banks Jackson says, no sound. I think we're back the sound now. Michael Averiye comes back again, say, God bless you, Kevin, for the good work you're doing for Mother Ghana. Edem Bonifacio Anthony says, Richard, you can say that again. Richard Kofi Ago says, sound is off, sound is back. I'm also here and watching you live from Belgium. That's coming from Nana Eje Sikapa. A lot of messages coming in. I'll take my time and go back to the messages. Now we have to do business. Business as usual. We're talking about PDS. Now, I think everybody knows about PDS. I don't think there's any Ghanaian who doesn't know what PDS is. But before I go into today's episode in detail, I would like to give a brief historical background about PDS. People need to understand, because you remember when I released an episode on With All Due Respect on Facebook, there was one episode titled The Thriller in Manila WhatsApp Group. A few people came out to say it was cooked. It wasn't the truth. Today, I am going to tell Ghanaians the conversations behind the scenes. I'm going to expose individuals in and out of government. I'm going to expose individuals that we actually handed over our biggest national asset to, and they decided to play games with it. I'm going to reveal conversations behind the scenes. And you have to understand this. This is one out of the 16 conversations I have on the WhatsApp group we call the Thriller in Manila. This WhatsApp group was put together by Gabi Ochodako. Yes, Gabi Ochodako was actually the administrator in this WhatsApp group. So there's a lot. I'm going to uncover a lot today, and I'm going to play the audio, the first audio. In that audio, you're going to hear Gabi Ochodako. You're going to hear Philip Ayensu. And you're going to hear Edward Akufo-Addo, the only brother of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You're going to hear him. My interest is going to be on Bumpty, yes, the president's brother, Edward Akufo. He said something, and I'm going to tell you what he said. Now, a brief historical background on PDS. You know, the PSP concession was started by the former government, the NDC government. We all know about that. We also know the terms of the concession at that time to be 80% foreign stake and 20 local. If you've been listening to the news or be watching the news, the current government, this NPP government, which I belong to, I'm always proud to say that the NPP government, which I voted for, I belong to, we always come out to say that the former administration, the former regime, the NDC government tried to give or sell ECG to foreigners by giving them 80%. So when we, the NPP, came into office, we actually turned everything around, turned the tables around. Now it's local percentage is going to be 80, right? Then the foreign is going to be 20. Now let's go on. This was not decided by the government, but was decided by the IFC consultants who worked together with Bentil Echi and Ankuma. In fact, let me take this again because it's very important. Bentil Echo and Ankuma law firm, their name pops up every time. And this law firm too, Minka Premo law firm. These two law firms, I have something on them in the weeks to come. And I don't want to talk about it now, but you have to take a critical look at these two law firms, Bentil Echo and Ankuma, and also Minka Premo. These two law firms, they have a lot of questions to answer when it comes to PDS and other government deals. Now, let me just take my time and break it down for Ghanaians to understand. I don't want us to rush this. Let's focus so that at the end of the day, people will understand where, with all due respect, or Loud Silence Radio or Kevin Taylor is coming from. Nothing I'm going to say here has been doctored. Nothing I'm going to say here is because we're victimizing people or we attacking personalities or we have anything against anyone. No. What we're doing here is a service to our nation. We are going to make sure that people who have made it a point to steal from us are all uncovered. That is the basic thing we're trying to do here. Now, back to the historical background. So the PSP concession was started by the former government, the NDC, and we also know the term of the concession at that time to be 80% foreign stake and 20 local stake. This was not decided by the NDC government, but was decided by the IFC consultants who worked with Bentil Echo and Ankuma after a thorough process. So the law firm, Bentil Echo and Ankuma, anytime you hear Ankuma, you think about is Ankuma. They, together with IFC, came together, did a lot of investigations and checks and studies and realized that this is how the whole process was supposed to go. Now, the reason assigned to the position was it was difficult to find a group of local parties with the requisite financial muscle to take a higher stake in the transaction. Now, they also didn't want the concession to be faced with any issues. This position was also to enable the local parties over time build capacity both in technical and financial. Just mark this word, technical and financial. The reason why I'm saying just be paying attention to some words is because they are the game changers, technical and financial. Now, technical and financial to take in more shares after 5 years of implementation of the concession. So the argument being put out there by Akufo-Addo's government, I mean this MPP government, does not hold. Indeed, document intercepted shows, we have documents here, and it shows that document intercepted shows Loud Silence Radio, we have documents, and those documents shows that IFC and MCC did advise against the Akufo-Addo government, I mean this current government, against the changes being requested on the concession, and that it could have a negative impact on the whole concession agreement. So the MCC, which basically represents the United States of America, giving us the money to support ECG to get on its feet, actually warned this current government that the decision you've taken, trying to force local companies or trying to put together local companies to handle this, was too huge for those local companies, and it would be better to stick with the old plan. You have to understand that the previous administration had worked with the MCC. Basically, they've worked with the United States of America. Nothing went wrong. If the Americans or MCC had an issue with the way the process was going, they wouldn't have even released the first compact. They wouldn't have released that money. But after all the advice, this government decided to still move on with their own plan. And as we go on, you understand why the government decided to move on. Now, this is what we have to understand. The background of PDS. After NPP won power, Zoom Lion, and I know everybody knows Zoom Lion. The moment we say Zoom Lion, I don't want to go into detail. Zoom Lion, realizing he had less political clout in the new administration, decided to recruit Philip Ayensu. Philip Ayensu, the good friend of Gabi Ochedanko, to front and see the successful completion of the ECG concession. After NPP won power, Zoom Lion actually called Philip Ayensu and said that, you know what, I want you to lead a deal for me. So he actually made Ayensu front and see to the successful completion of the ECG concession, a process which they started during the former administration. You have to understand that this PDS process and deal and everything started during the NDC era. So things started changing, the story started changing from one end to the other after the NPP took over. Now let's go on. At that time, the only name we knew was Meralco and TG Energy. There were only two companies we knew from Ghana which were part of this whole deal, Meralco and TG Energy. Now, I would like to ask some few questions. Who is GT Engineering? GT Engineering. And who brought them or who brought him into the deal? The answer is simple. After Philip had accepted to run with a deal from Zoom Lion, he went to present it to Gabi Ochedanko as his deal, because Zoom Lion didn't want to show his face. He had some bad blood with the current government. So he sent Philip to front to do all that. And Philip is a good friend to Gabi, who is a nephew to the president. So Philip actually chose the right person to have that conversation with. Now, Philip presented it to Gabi as his deal, which he started working on during the old regime. So Philip actually told Gabi that, you know what, this is something I've been working on around 2015, 2016. So it's been cooked. I've been working on this, and I've spent a lot of time, and I think you are the right person I can discuss this with. So he went to present it to Gabi, and the deal which he actually told Gabi, he actually started in 2015. As to whether Philip expected Gabi to believe him or not, only God knows. Gabi decided after hearing Philip to introduce Philip to Fred Asemenya. Fred Asemenya. Now, Fred used to work with Barclays Bank and later moved to the energy sector. He is also a close friend to the president. Fred Asemenya, who used to work at Barclays Bank and later moved to the energy sector, is a very good friend to the president and the president's family, obviously. Now, Fred has played varying roles to the president through his brother Bumpty. I told you before I started this, I said, the audio we're going to be listening today, it has Philip Ayensu in there, it has Gabi Ochedanko in there, and it has Bumpty, Edward Akufo-Addo, the president's only brother. He is the godfather. He pulls all the strings. He is also there. This guy is a very good friend to him. Now, let's go on. Fred has played varying roles to the president through his brother Bamti on many energy-related matters, even before Akufo-Addo became president. So GTS Energy, which is the trading name used for the formation of PDS, is ably represented by Fred Asemeni to front for Gabi. Because you remember, when Ayensu went to tell Gabi went to Fred and said, you know what, Fred, we want you to be the person who front. We want you to be the person who actually leads this. Present your face to the people, because everybody knows that you are in the energy sector. Now, Gabi didn't tell Fred alone. Gabi didn't actually cook this up alone. What Gabi did was he talked to Ken Ofori-Atta. He talked to Kelly Gajepo. Kelly Gajepo, you know, he is the chairman of ECG. Kelly actually talked to the president. That's what Gabi did. Gabi talked to Bamti, he talked to Kelly, and he talked to the president. And they all said that, okay, we think this guy, Fred Asemeni, will be the right person to front for us. So when you see GTS Energy, it's basically for Ken Ofori-Atta, Bamti, Kelly Gajepo, and the president himself. Yes, we have documents to that. As time goes on, we'll be releasing all these things. Remember, when I released the Thriller in Manila WhatsApp chat, people thought that that's it. They came out to say a whole lot of things, and I gave them time because I knew people were going to come out and lie. So I gave them time. I gave them time to come lie, say so many things. Now is the time for me to tell people what I have and what I am actually presenting to the Americans. Yes, because the Inspector General in the United States of America has contacted me, and it is better I tell my fellow Ghanaians what I have before I give it to them. So that is why I am doing this episode. Yeah, that is why I'm putting this episode together for my fellow Ghanaians to know the next step I'm taking. Now, let's move on. The third name on the local side of PDS is Santa Power. Yes, we normally call it Santa Baron, Santa Power, or Santa Baron Ventures. People remember it as this, he's the same guy who was given a contract to supply special fleet of vehicles for the presidency, whose contract became an issue. We all remember that, and a lot of people were laughing at this guy and all that, you know, we made ridicule of him and all that. This is the same guy. Now, how did Santa Baron feature in this deal? What role did Sami Awuku, Anthony Cabo, and Perry Okujato play in the PDS deal? What are their roles? What did they do? What I'm trying to do today is to let Ghanaians understand that the PDS we see, the big name PDS, some people started pulling strings. And these people are all behind the scenes taking money which they don't deserve. I'm going to expose every single individual who was part of this clique, who was part of this cartel that came together to make sure that our biggest asset, they were going to steal the money from it. Basic. So that's why I'm taking my time to explain things to everybody so that we could take it from there. Then when you listen to the audio, you understand all that I'm saying. Now, how did Santa Baron feature into this deal? What role did Sami Awuku play? Anthony Cabo and Perry Okujato. What role did these guys play? Now, you will know that the transaction required the local consortium to show some financial muscle. You remember I told you about the technical and financial. Yes, I told you about it. Mark those words. So you know that the transaction required the local consortium to show some financial muscle in terms of good balance sheet to meet the drawn down criteria. Now, Sami Awuku, who is a very close friend to Santa Baron, reaches out to him after Perry and Anthony Cabo through their engagement with Sophia Koko. Everybody remembers Sophia Koko. She's on the board of PDS. This same lady works with Menka Premo. She worked with Menka Premo before, and she worked with the Dankwa Institute. This same lady, yes, her name is Sophia Koko. So the duo engaged Sophia Koko to find a suitable candidate with a good balance sheet. So let me say this here. Santa Power, which is the trading name under PDS deal, was introduced by Sami Awuku, Anthony Cabo, and Perry Okujato. Perry Okujato. These three guys all had shares in PDS under the Santa Power block shares. I can say emphatically that these three guys all had shares under the Santa Power block shares. So the argument making rounds that Philip Ayensu brought Santa Power to this deal is totally false. And I'm going to prove that. Yes, in the weeks to come, I'm going to prove that to Ghanaians. Now, let's move on. Who is TBK? Who is TBK? TBK, we all know from the initial transaction documents submitted to Parliament and signed by the parties, didn't have TBK. The question is, where did they come from? We also know TBK on their own were in another group of consortiums seeking to also bid for the concession until their disqualification. You have to understand that the only company that was disqualified without any reason was BXC, the Chinese company. BXC, during Atamil's era, was able to give ECG over $100 million without any interest. BXC has been in Ghana. They understand our market. But for some strange reason, BXC, they were disqualified. You remember EDF, the French company. That company, at the latter part of the process, pulled out. They were not disqualified. In fact, they were the favorites to win this deal. But at the end, the tail end, they pulled out. The French company did not give any reason. From our checks, what they told me was that they saw so much corruption happening in the process. The process was never fair. So, and they didn't want anything to be connected to them. You know, it's a big company. The French are straightforward people, and they didn't want to taint their company. So they decided to pull out after spending over $100 million in the process. So we have to understand that this is a big deal. I'm trying to point out all these people so that we get to know where they come from, the role they played, and why PDS today it has been cancelled. I'm trying to build a case here for people to understand how these people came together to dupe Ghana of millions of dollars. TBK, simple, TBK is Sickens. He was brought into the deal to handle interest for the president and his family. When you see TBK in the PDS deal, it is Sickens, short. Yes, this is the reason why he was made the director at PDS. But you know, Sickens does not have any energy experience. He's never done any job. He does not have any track record of being into the energy sector. By the end of the day, this guy was made a director under PDS. Yes, he was made a director. And it's shocking. Like somebody who does not have any idea about energy was made the director. Now let's move forward. Energia. Energia is one company nobody wants to talk about, especially people in government today, people who are involved with PDS. The moment you ask about Energia, everybody starts to run. And I keep saying that until we find out how Energia got to where they got. Because from what I know and the facts I have, Energia was not part of the process, the beginning. They were not part. Somebody slaughtered Energia inside the deal. Energia was taking 19%. That is huge. To date, nobody has come out to say, I brought Energia. These guys, this is the guy who sat on the board. This is how much they took. This is the reason why we brought Energia. They went through the process. They qualified financially, technically. That's why they are there. Nobody from the presidency all the way to the last messenger in government. No one has been able to answer that question. You know what? Philip brought Ricardo, that is the Energia guy, into the transaction primarily to be the financial lead of the books of MEDA. Now, this was so because Meralco, who also knew was the financial and technical lead, never played any financial role throughout the transaction process. Our sources confirmed even plane tickets. Our sources confirmed that plane tickets for core team Meralco members during the concession process were all prepaid by Zoom Lion. And we have those documents here. Yes, we have the receipts, and I'm going to show everything to Ghanaians. There's no need to be hiding anything from anyone now. So even their plane tickets, we have evidence. We tracked the credit cards. It was all paid by Zoom Lion. Now, I have some few questions before I move on. Why did Philip fall out with Ricardo, the Energia guy? Why did he fall out with him? Why was there a conflict between Philip and Ricardo? Was it because of the fight over 11% shares which Meralco wanted to offload to Energia in return of funding on the part of Meralco for payment they were due to make under the PDS concession? This is just a question. I can take that question again. Why did Philip fall out with Ricardo, the Energia guy? Was it because of the fight over 11% shares which Meralco wanted to offload to Energia in return for funding on the parts of Morocco for payment, they were due to make another PDS concession. Another question: how did Ricardo manage to secure audience with the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in South Africa at one of the African Project Forum? We have that document here too. We have video footage which we'll be showing in the weeks to come, how Ricardo met Akufo-Addo behind the scenes in South Africa. The next question is it true that Ricardo, after failing to win his way around Philip, now decided to backchannel all boardroom issues with Gabi and the Thriller in Manila camp? So, is it true that it was Ricardo who was actually being used as a mole for the WhatsApp group Thriller in Manila? Because after Ricardo met the president in South Africa, things started to change. Things started to change because now Ricardo started sending information to the center. When I say the center is a name that the family uses. The center is the name that the president calls his family. The center is the name that Gabi Ochredakon calls the president's family. And I know he'll be surprised to hear this. They call the family the center because they are the center of everything. And this is a code name Gabi and his family, the president, Bamti, Ken Ofori-Atta, and his allies use. Do you want to present something to the center? The moment you hear the center, then we're talking about the president's family. Now, the last question is, can we say these events together with the fight over shares and control led to the ultimate termination of PDS? I'm going to answer all these questions before the show ends today. Now, this is the time we enter Thriller in Manila. Thriller in Manila is basically a WhatsApp group Gabi Ochredakon put together. This WhatsApp group was a group that was going to make sure that the shares, everything about PDS was actually handed over to the president's family indirectly without Ghanaians knowing. So when you hear Thriller in Manila, it's basic. It's basic. It is all about the family, the center, taking over ECG. So they put this WhatsApp group together. And, you know, when I showed Ghanaians the WhatsApp group, it had Bamti, Edward Akufo in there. It had Gabi Ochredakon in there. It had Philip Ayensu in there. It had a whole lot of people, over 16, 20 people, family members, friends, lawyers. They were all on that platform making decisions for we Ghanaians, deciding our fate, trying to take our national asset to share amongst themselves. And I keep saying that I would never come on my show in any day without evidence. I always prove whatever I say. And I'm going to play voices, 16 voices. Yes, in the weeks to come, I'm going to play 16 voices, different meetings, conference calls on how people were sharing this ECG money behind the scenes. This is ridiculous, if you ask me, because Ghana does not belong to a group of people, a clan, or a family. Ghana belongs to us. ECG belongs to us. We don't expect some group of people to just hijack every single thing. Our forefathers fought to get ECG. Kwame Nkrumah, you can mention. We can't allow a few people to come together and sell ECG to themselves. This should not happen. We have to speak up. This is the time ordinary Ghanaians have to understand that party affiliations, being friends with somebody, family and friends will not work. This is the time we have to stand up, be bold, speak truth to power. We have to speak truth to power because we have only one Ghana. We don't have two Ghanas. If we lose it today, we're not going to have Ghana anywhere else. So when I do these things, people think that there's a motive. I'm targeting somebody. I'm victimizing some people. I envy somebody. I don't. I can't eat a full chicken. Today is Thanksgiving in the United States. I can't eat a full chicken. Yes, I can't. So what do I need? The only thing I need is to see my fellow Ghanaians living a good life. My fellow Ghanaians getting decent jobs. My fellow Ghanaians can just be at work and pick the phone and say, did my mom go to the hospital? Was she given that treatment? That is what we need. When we travel out of this country, we go to other countries. It is so embarrassing. A whole vice president gets sick and he flies out of the country. He goes to treat himself. He comes back and he comes to tell us he's the wisest person and that we should clap for him. in any reasonable, rational country, this guy, with all due respect, the vice president, Mahmoud Bawumia, would never be a vice president. You have hospitals closed down. We have basic infrastructure put together by the former regime. And when you say these things, people sit somewhere else and he's been paid. Who has not been paid in Ghana? The culture of silence, from the high priests all the way to the last servant in our churches. Those who were vocal last week, last year, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, today they are quiet because what? One of us is president, because the president is not a northerner, because the president does not belong to a particular family, because the president, my fellow Ghanaians, let's get some things right. When a hospital is built, when a road are built, when water channels are built, that is when we get to know we are developing. We can't always be doing the same thing every day. The youth, we piling them in schools. We choking these kids. They can't get job to do. We ignore these people. We ignore the youth. And then when somebody says there's going to be an uprising, he's arrested. There's going to be an uprising when there's so much, when the tap is choked. There's going to be an uprising. And I'm not going to mince words here, because when the youth don't get jobs to do, when they don't get basic jobs to do, to get basic salaries, when they can afford, they can access healthcare, when they go to school for 7 years and they come back home to sit at home for people to ridicule them, that is where the boiling point is. That is where you get to see that the country is on that edge. We are not here because we hate anybody. We are here because we want our fellow Ghanaians to understand that they also need to get a better life. God being good to us, we have traveled around the world. We know what other countries are doing. Let's stay in Africa, Rwanda, other places. Why can't we do same? A former regime does something, a new, it started from Kufuor's time, out from Rawlings' time, Kufuor's time, Atamil's time. Today, projects has been left behind. Kufuor built Snitch Flats, it comes Mahama, Atamil's, now Kufuor, infrastructure, massive infrastructures being left. Because what? Because of politics. Because when some hospitals are open, when some roads contracts are given out, somebody will look good. And the messed up part is, none of these guys build these hospitals, put all this infrastructure together with their own money. It is our own taxes. So when a taxpayer comes out to speak, when a taxpayer feels that he is not being served right, and they come out to speak and you tag them, you have been paid by this person, you have been paid by... I keep telling Ghanaians that we made some mistakes we are not going to make again. In 2014, 2015, 2016, we made allegations in this country. I was part of it. Gold, this person is taking gold from Ghana in helicopters in a week. He's going to Dubai. This person has stolen $200 billion. This person has done this. For 3 good years, an ant has not been prosecuted. And we are not going to do that again. Now we are going to speak with facts. We are going to speak with evidence. Initially, we were stupid. Anybody says anything, they will just jump on it. Yes, this person has taken this. I will never sit on my show and say NDC party or NDC government or Atamil's government or Kufuor's government, they were clean. Never. Corruption happened during Kufuor's time. Corruption happened during Atamil's time. Corruption happened during Mahama's time. But if these things happened, and we looked at all these things, and we voted you guys into power, and for 3 good years, 3 good years, nobody has been brought to the law court. All the allegations we made to give us the vote, I'm speaking as a journalist and as an NPP sympathizer. Nobody. You're not going to make that mistake again. You're not just going to tell us things for us to soak. We are going to speak with facts. We're going to speak with evidence. We're going to tell the people the truth. We are not going to edit anything because we've been fooled for too long. This is the time we have to make sure we hold these people in government and people out of government accountable, because those people out of government like Gabi Otredako and his friends, they are the real problem, because they are the ones they are using. Yes, people in government, they are the ones. We were in this country when the former president's brother, Ibrahim Mahama, yes, we all spoke against it. We thought Ibrahim Mahama was coming in the light too much. Everybody was like, President Mahama's brother. even though he did some few things. He sold some gutters. He was a businessman before his brother got into politics. But we did not give him that space because we thought that your brother is in office and we don't want you close to your brother. He's a successful businessman, we all know, but we Ghanaians spoke against it. Today, we have a family, a whole clan that does not want us to speak. Because of what? Gabi Ochidako has hijacked the country. Ken Oforeta has hijacked the country. Bumpty, they are taking juicy contract. You ask questions, everybody is quiet because people are scared to speak. 2014, 2015, I did my stories, I did energy stories, I did Galamsey stories. Nobody in Ghana looked in my face and said that, Kevin, be careful of you could lose your life. Nobody. I did my job. My fellow journalists did their job. Today, the only calls you get every morning, be careful where you go. These people are dangerous. When the citizens start to fear the people in power, when the citizens start to get nervous, when the citizens start to get very careful about the people they put in power, that is where you have to understand that the end is near. If the citizens of a nation can open their mouth and say, be careful of the government, then the government has to understand that it is the beginning of the end. Uprising, let's not play with words. When you don't do the right thing, people get angry, and when people get angry, it balls out, and when it balls out, that's where the frustration you see people on the street. We are not better than any country that there's war. We are not better than Rwanda. We are not better than South Africa. We are not better than anybody. The only thing that's making us still stay as a people is the ability to be able to hold our democracy intact. Today, journalists are being shot. Today, journalists in Ghana are scared to speak. We have a polarized system. People defend people. They don't defend the system again. Because tribalism has filled our hearts. We don't look at competence again. We look at affiliations, tribe. That is what we look at today. Let's go on. I think enough of getting too personal on this issue. But let's go back to PDS. Now, Thriller in Manila WhatsApp group. So the post-handing over of ECG assets to PDS, which we termed as transfer of assets, Gabi and the Thriller in Manila group requested for some changes to be made to the PDS deal. Now, this they had wanted to do through the creation of the SPV. You remember when I published the Thriller in Manila WhatsApp chat, Philip Ayensu and Gabi Ochidako and Bumpty, they had some misunderstanding in that group. It was all about the SPV. The SPV is the special purpose vehicle. You see, sometimes we speak all these big words and it confuses people. The SPV is simple. It's like having a football club. You have it under 12, under 14, under 16, under 18. At the end of the day, they were all working for the football club. Now, what happens is somebody comes in and say, like, you know what? Under 12 should be on their own. Under 14 should be on their own. Now, what I want to do is under 12, under 14, under 16, under 20, I want to give it to what person to handle. That is what Ayensu did not agree to. Because the moment you give it to one person to handle the under 12, 14, 15, 16, it means that person gets to throw the shots. Then what that person can do is that person can decide so many things. Under 12, we used to give you 100 Ghana cedis. Now we are going to give you 20 Ghana cedis. Under 14, we used to. But if it's not that way, then it means it's an open administration. That is what Philip Ayensu was trying to avoid. Because if he had allowed the SPV to go on, it means that he was going to lose all his shares. And if I say Philip Ayensu was angry, it wasn't Philip Ayensu, it was Philip Ayensu's boss. Zoom Lion did not agree to that. Zoom Lion did not agree. Because at the end of the day, Philip is just the puppet. Zoom Lion is the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. So this SPV was aimed at grouping all shares under PDS into a common pot for ease of management and control. The reason behind this was that the Thriller in Manila team, which Gabi controls, had their interests sitting with two different entities under PDS. So they sought of creating this SPV to enable them to have one-point management. And this person was Dr. Otin Jesse. You see how they were trying to pull this. They are intertwining things slowly. So they want to bring Dr. Otinjesi to come and handle PDS. And Dr. Otinjesi is from the camp of the president. This is simple. We don't need a soothsayer. We don't need a PhD to come and explain this to us. We don't. We just have to follow, focus, and we will know the culprits in here. People who are pulling strings to take us for granted. Now, the idea of this SPV, the Special Purpose Vehicle, was fiercely resisted by Philip Ayensu and the other local consortium parties, as they all knew by allowing the SPV to be formed meant that their role in the transaction will come to an end. That's what I was saying. Philip Ayensu was resisting. Indirectly, Zoom Lion was resisting that SPV. He didn't want that to be formed because the moment they do that, it means the president's family, they take over PDS. And these are businessmen. And they know. They talk to each other, they talk to their friends, they talk to their girlfriends, and they know what was happening. So Philip actually resisted. He said no. Those are the kind of things you hear in the audio. And Bumpty is in the audio. He was there listening, and he made a statement. And that statement, we're going to get back to it. Yes. Now let's go on. The SPV issue became a heated debate, as we are told by our sources. Yes, we work with a lot of people, and all my sources are trusted sources. One of them was there when this issue broke up, and it was a heated argument. And we have a little bit of an audio. It's not so important, but it was a huge fight between Gabi and Philip. Now, the president at one time had to instruct the finance minister to issue a letter to that effect. So if we all remember, the finance minister issued a letter. That letter that became the biggest headline in Ghana. People were asking basic questions. In what capacity is the finance minister sending that letter? Why is he sending that letter? Because we have an energy minister. We have MEDA. We have the East. We have the board. Why is Ken Oforiatta so interested in this PDS deal? Those were the basic questions. Why should Ken Oforiatta instruct them what to do? He is the finance minister. He is not a person who actually put this together. So why should Ken Oforiatta write a letter to say that Akoto Ampao, who works at the president's law firm? This is ridiculous. Akoto Ampao, who works at the president's law firm, he works with the president to come and take over. Basic takeover to do restructuring. The restructuring was simple, to bring in new guys, their own guys, bring in Sekins, bring in Chum, bring in Otinja, bring their guys to take over PDS. My fellow Ghanaians, we are not here to intimidate anybody. We speak with facts. Yes. You see, what hurts is the media in Ghana have decided to be mute on such issues. The media we knew 3-4 years ago, that was very loud. That was very energetic. The media that could speak their mind to the highest authority. The media that could even, at the end of the day, decide what the people should have on their tables to read, to listen to. Today, the media is quiet. We need to ask ourselves, why is the media so quiet on PDS? Why are we not speaking on it? What has happened? The big names, why are they all quiet on this? This is the biggest scandal that has hit this country since independence. And we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to point fingers at people and be like, you know what? You have caused a lot of harm to this country. We've lost so much money. Even the trust the Americans had in us, because of your negligence, we don't have that trust again. We can look into people's eyes and tell them that you are the problem. You have to go to jail because you did not do your job well, because all that you started was based on fraud. Why can't we do that? The media in Ghana they've turned into puppets. Statesmen are quiet. The clergy, everybody is quiet. Why? I just don't understand. I just don't get it. Why are we quiet today? Nothing should stop Ghanaians from speaking out. What is making us keep so mute? My fellow Ghanaians, to me, PDS is the biggest scandal that we should not let it just slide. No. People made billions of dollars from this as we speak. The money PDS collected, people died. I remember in the news, a young man died from light bills. The money PDS collected till date. Nobody has come out to say that these people collected this amount of money and that we need to take it back. Nobody. And these people are driving in Maybachs in Ghana, living in their mansions, going up and down. Kelly Kajipo. We're not asking questions. Doomso has started. We are trying to give it different names, but it has started because of the negligence, because of the greed of people like Gabi Achudakum, the greed of people like Ken Oforiata, greed of people like Kelly Gajipo, Bumpty, and the president himself. Yes, I said the president himself because when issues about PDS came up, when we all realized that PDS was fraud, it was fraudulent, he ran all the way to Angola to address Ghanaians. This we don't call a president. This man does not have the courage to stand in front of Ghanaians to tell us that PDS was built on fraud. The disrespect, the denigration of the office the president holds. And we have people who have PhDs, people who have studied from top to down defending this. If this is not the lowest point of governance, what will be the lowest point? Somebody should come and tell me. My fellow Ghanaians, before I run up, let me just, you see, I just want people to understand how I feel about this. And it's not going to end today. I am going to expose people in government, civil servants. I'm going to go into GTV, the crime happening there. I'm going to go into Gehok. I'm going to go into the Ghana customs. I have a lot of things to tell Ghanaians. You should be ready. Now, where was I? Yeah. Now, after failing to secure additional shares from Meralco, now let's do this. I was actually talking about the thriller in Manila Group. Okay, so I'll quickly want to talk about the vice president. And before the vice president actually played a very big role in this PDS scandal. But we're going to take a short break, a quick break. And when I come back, we're going to continue this PDS scandal. Expect page. You can also listen to us live on our app, radio app. That is Loud Silence Radio. It's on Android and it's also on iOS. This is the show you have to listen to. Here, we don't edit. We make sure we sell the right product to Ghanaians and people around the world. Now, before we go to the tape of the day, I'm going to ask a few questions because in this PDS issue, the vice president has been involved a lot. He took very serious decisions about when this PDS process and all that was going on. But you know, one funny thing is he's been sidelined by some people. But the issue is the decisions the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, took was very critical in this PDS scandal. Very, very critical. And I'll have a whole episode on that because there are evidence that the vice president made some decisions. Those decisions, he made them because he thought they were going to help his future political agenda. He still wants to be president, which I don't have a problem with. He made sure so many things were overlooked so that in the future, he will come back and say, yes, we, the MPP government, we were able to make sure that the local stake was higher than the foreign and that the foreign and blah, 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 blah. No, he wasn't looking at the interest of Ghanaians. He was actually looking at his own personal political career. That's what I'm saying. There's a whole expose on the vice president, Mahmoud Bawumia, walking around and saying things. He has to come to the table and answer questions. The vice president of the Republic of Ghana is basically the president of the Republic of Ghana. The briefing the president gets, the vice president gets the same briefing. They're not different. When the president steps out of the country, the person who pens every single document is the vice president of the Republic of Ghana. So nobody should think that Mr. or Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia being on the PDS board was an easy, it was just whatever. He didn't just get there out of sympathy. He got there because the president wanted a higher authority to be in there to make decisions, to make sure that every single decision that went on the table of PDS, the government of Ghana knew about it. So we cannot exonerate the vice president. No. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has to answer questions. Why did he allow so many things to be frowned upon? Why did he push so many things under the carpet? We're talking about the insurance guarantee. He is the person who sat through that meeting. Why did he intentionally? Why did the vice president intentionally ignore the holes, the defects, all the wrong things in the contracts and all that for the insurance guarantee to be changed? Why did he do that? Now, I have some few questions for the vice president, and I'll have a whole expose on him because I have documents to prove what he did at meetings, his decisions that affected this PDS scandal. And we are not going to just ignore that. In the future, people have to ask questions. If they don't want to answer questions today, we will force them to speak in the future because PDS or ECG is our asset. It does not belong to an Achim clan. It does not belong to an Ashanti clan, a Fanti clan, a Gonja clan. ECG belongs to Ghanaians. And if you take a penny from ECG, you have to pay back. That is what we are looking at. We are not looking at PhDs. We are not looking at titles. We are not looking at positions. We're looking at the right from wrong. Now, the question is it true that the vice president used his office to push ECG to accept the defective demand guarantee after the latter had protested against it? Because I know for a fact with documents that people protested against that, but the vice president made sure this went through because of his greed, his political ambition. He did not think about Ghana. And I'm going to expose the vice president as time goes on. Why did he allow that to happen? I'm talking to you, Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. Is it also true that the VIP, the Vice President's office, was the one that superintended over the watering down of the bank demand guarantee to insurance guarantee, and also ensure that CPs and PDS was not in a position to complete or water down the CS? These are questions we have to be asking the Vice President. Is it also true that Sophia Koko, this lady's name has been appearing in every single PDS scandal, and nobody has bothered to call people in and ask them questions? Yoko is going after the Auditor General for no reason. Ridiculous things. We talked about Namwan's issue. Ace Ankuma, the former Yoko boss. As we speak today, nobody has come out to tell us that those people who are the Charles and Adega, what is happening? Tiwa the Danko is sitting there. No questions. We lost those 3 girls in Takrady. The country is upside down. Nothing is working. The system has been tweaked. Can't you people see that a clique, a group of people are messing the station up? The culture of silence is killing us. Today, our concentration is on a cathedral. We don't have food to eat. We don't have work to do. We don't have hospitals to go to. We don't have clean water to drink. Kids are dying in the north from preventable diseases. Some countries, when you go and you mention some diseases, they're like, does it even exist? 21st century, we're still fighting those diseases, and the president comes to stand in front of you and tells you that he's going to spend $100 million on a building. And we think it's funny, and we are smiling. How dumb can we be as a people? Don't we feel it when they're taking taxes from us? Why have we allowed ourselves to be brainwashed? Why can't we think outside the box and ask for the things that will benefit us? These people we vote for to get into power, they don't have anything. They become billionaires overnight. We know those who are living in London, ex-convicts, they didn't have anything. They were dreadlocked guys. With all due respect to people who are dreadlocked, I don't have a problem with you. We know these people. They repackage them. They sold them to us. They are credible people. They are not. These people are criminal cartels. This government is beginning to look like a criminal enterprise. Nobody answers questions. Nobody is accountable to anybody. All that they are accountable to is what the president thinks is right. Go and build a cathedral. Let's walk around the nation and tell people that we have brought free SHS. And I respect the Ashanti King for what he just said recently, that free SHS is not the problem solver. The problem solver is when a woman, a man, they leave the house, they come back home, and they know that the work they went to do yielded something, and that they can put food on the table for their family. That is, the economy should work. Not everybody has a kid in the senior high school. If you look at this, let's think a little bit. Let's think a little bit. Don't let these people in Vietnam suits, living in the UK, living in the US, living in Asia, decide for us. We are humans. We can make our own decisions. We can decide. We can separate wrong from right. When somebody is leading us and they are taking us the wrong way, we should be able to speak in their face. How much do we own as a country now? These are basic questions. How much do we owe as a country now? How many people have credible jobs in Ghana now as we speak? The youth, the graduates now in school now. Let's just take those in school now. Where are the jobs for them? Yesterday I heard the Commander Sugar Factory has been given to Indians. And Alan Tremantin walks around and say, made in Ghana, Africa Beyond Aid. You can't just give Commander Sugar Factory to a Ghanaian to handle. Commander Sugar Factory. You are going after Ghanaian investors. Pakwesindum C. How many people did Pakwesindum recruit? You're going after Adongo. You're going after Opuni. You're going after unnecessary things. For 3 years, you've been chasing these people. You've wasted our tax money. You can't tell us anything. What is your problem? And we get people who said you've been to school, they have PhD. Common sense is different from school book. My fellow Ghanaians, common sense is different from school book. If you're being cheated, you should know that you've been cheated. I'm an MPP person, and I'm saying that this government is turning out to be a criminal enterprise because they don't want to answer questions. They don't want to submit themselves. They don't want to make sure the system works, because when the system is tweaked, it favors them. And we will force them to talk because we gave the power to these people and we can take the power from them. I hope my producer is watching me now. I think it's about time we got into the tape. The tape we're about to play now is a conversation between Gabby Otchere-Darko, Philip Ayensu, and the president's only brother, Bamti. He's called Edward Ekufu-Addo. This was recorded. It's a three-way conversation. We have 15 more of these conversations involving Sophia Koko, Philip Ayensu, Gabby Otchere-Darko, Ken Ofori-Atta, the president. We are going to be releasing all this audio because I've realized that my fellow Ghanaians are being fooled with big English, the statistics, the economics, the whatever. Now we are going to go straight at these people. We are going to set the record straight. We are going to speak truth to power. This is not the time to be joking again. We are done. You come in, you do the job. When the job is good, we keep you. If you can't do the job, we kick you out. We can't be going back to those times whereby he's an Akan, he's an Ordner, he's an Afanti, we don't want to do that again. We just want to make sure people are competent. People can do the job, infrastructure. People can make sure the economy is good. People can make sure education, agriculture, our health, everything is intact. Those are the people we need, not these people who come in and all that they can do is be rude to us, the people who gave them power. And this cuts across. And I want to tell these other political parties that if you people don't help us to fight this PDS canker, this PDS saga, to make sure that the people who are involved in this PDS saga are brought to book, you also show you people the red card. Because then it means that you people are condoning criminality. We expect the biggest opposition party in Ghana, the NDC, to come out and tell us that in their manifesto, if nobody is prosecuted today in this government about PDS, they will put in their manifesto that their first 18 months, people will start going to jail. If they don't, then I, Kevin Taylor, will tell Ghanaians that the NDC is equally as the same as the NPP. They should give us something different. If they can promise Ghanaians that if this government does not prosecute people in this PDS scandal, they will in their first 18 months. When they come to you, my fellow Ghanaians, don't listen to them. This is the time we have to make sure people tell us what they can do, not what they dreamt of or their covenant with God. We all believe in God and we all have our priorities. Our money is our money and we have to use it to benefit ourselves. Each one for himself, God for us all. If the producer is ready, I'm going to play the PDS tape. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Take your time and listen to this tape. What you're going to realize is Gabby Otchere-Darko is talking to Philip Ayensu. At the end of their conversation, somebody is going to speak. And that person is Edward Ekufu-Addo, Bamti, the only brother of the president. Now, I'm going to go back and explain what he said, the exact words he used, and we're going to delve into that. Remember that Philip Ayensu is on the board of PDS. So if Philip Ayensu is negotiating PDS shares outside board meetings and government contracts, that is illegal. And I expect Iyoko to call Philip Ayensu anytime from now to ask Philip Ayensu questions, because Philip Ayensu was involved in the government deal. Who is Gabby Otchere-Darko to be deciding and making decisions behind the scene? This same person went to sit on the cooked Good Evening Ghana show, wore a tie, go sit in the wooden panel room to lie to Ghanaians that he does not talk on PDS, he does not have any involvement with government deals. This is the person who goes on Twitter, who goes on Facebook to talk about corruption. And we Ghanaians sit there and say, Gabby Otchere-Darko is a wise man, he's an honest man. This person, He sits on national television to lie together. He's a religious liar. I read an article and I was very happy about it. This guy is a religious liar. He does not care about you Ghanaians. This guy cares about himself and his center, his family. My fellow Ghanaians, we're going to listen to the tape now. If my producer is ready, we can just play the tape between Philip Ayensu, Gabi Otridako, and Bamti.
You can't go below 40. No. You can't go below 40. No, sir. At all. Yes, sir. Gabi, you see, we've come far. I'm just trying to. Yeah. No, I can't go below the 40. I would rather prefer getting off and just getting something out of it and just getting off. Okay, so I see. It's just to demonstrate that this is for me and it's not. You can't go below 40. No, sir. At all. Yes, sir. Gabi, you see, we've come far. I'm just. You can't go below 40. No, sir. At all. Yes, sir. Gabi, you see, we've come far. I'm just trying to. Yeah. No, I can't go below the 40. I would rather prefer getting off and just getting something out of it and just getting off. Okay, so I see. It's just to demonstrate that this is for me and it's not for anybody. And that is something I want to just come up very strong on. Yeah. Okay, if that's your final position, then we have to let the others know and see how both moving forward. Okay, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Thank you. No, sir. At all? Yes, sir. Gabby, see, we've come far. I'm just trying to. Yeah. No, I can't go below the 40. I would rather prefer getting off and just getting something out of it and just getting. No, I can't go. Okay, so I would rather prefer getting off and just getting something out of it. It's just to demonstrate that this is for me and it's not for anybody. And that is something I want to. You can't go below 40. No, sir. Just to demonstrate that this is for me. Yes. Gabby, you see, we've come far. I'm just trying to. Yeah. No, I can't go below the 40. I would rather prefer getting off and just getting something out of it and just getting off. That's your final decision. We have to let the others know. Okay, so. Okay, sir. I appreciate it. It's just to demonstrate that this is for me and it's not for anybody. And that is something I want to just come up very strong on. Yes, sir. You see, we've come far. That's your final position. We have to let the others know. Okay, sir. Yeah. No, I can't go below the 40. I would rather prefer getting off and just demonstrate that. Yeah. No, I can't go below the 40. I would rather prefer getting off and just getting something out of it and just getting off. Okay, so it's just to demonstrate that this is for me and it's not for anybody. And that is something I want to just come up very strong on. Yeah. Okay, if that's your final position, then we have to let the others know and see how moving forward. Okay, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, my fellow Ghanaians, this is the conversation between Gabi Ochodakun and Philip Ayensu, and also Bumpty, the president's only brother. We apologize for the hips. Yeah, we got a little bit of a technical problem when we started playing the tape, but I think for now, everybody heard what actually transpired. Now, what we have to look at very critically is what Bumpty said. Now, before I talk on Edward Ekufu or Bumpty's issue, I would like people to understand that what Philip Ayensu did or say in that audio automatically makes him a fraudster. Philip Ayensu is a member of the PDS board. Philip Ayensu was discussing government dealings with an individual who says, an individual who is actually a nephew to the president. Now, what Philip Ayensu did is criminal. And I expect Yoko, the SP, to invite this guy now. He was discussing our biggest investment with an individual. They were deciding the shares. This is our money. And Philip Ayensu, being on the board of PDS, decides to go behind PDS and go decide with an individual who thinks is so powerful, Gabi Ochodakun, how the shares of PDS should be shared. Now, when you listen to the audio very critically, Bumpty said something. He said, his response to Philip Ayensu was, I was going to discuss with the others. If that is your position, I am going to discuss with the others. The question is, who are the others? And in the weeks to come, I am going to show you who the others are and what phone conversation they had. Yes, Bumpty in this audio said, If that is your final position, then I'm going to discuss with the others, then we'll take care of contract. And I'm asking, who are the others? And I'll give Ghanaians the answers. The weeks to come, I'm going to play tapes of Bamti, the president, Ken Oforiatta, Gabi Ochunako discussing PDS to detail the percentages they want to have. This is where we are as a country. This is how low the presidency, the government has been turned into. Family and friends, state capture. If this is not state capture, what is it? Is it an our day party? And we get people wearing suits every Monday, Wednesday, coming to sit on TV to defend this crime. In any reasonable, rational country, these people will be in jail. Because what we know for a fact is PDS was fraudulent. So if PDS was fraudulent and we have people on tape deciding the shares of PDS, then these people are fraudsters. Fellow Ghanaians, I've always told you that I am just a messenger. I am a messenger without a Quran or a Bible in my hand. I'm just a messenger who is ready and willing to speak truth to power. When I die today, whatever happens behind me is between me and my God. I am not in the business of favoring people. No. You do the right thing, I tell you in your face, and you do the wrong thing, I'm going to tell you in your face. We go into that segment whereby we'll be taking in some phone calls. We'll be talking to two people. We'll be talking to Larry Dogbe. He is the editor of the Herald newspaper. We'll also be talking to lawyer Etudzi Kuje Tamaklo. He is a private legal practitioner with special interest in white-collar jobs. We're going to be asking questions. The reason why we're talking to Larry is because he started this PDS scandal. He sensed it. He spoke about it. He wrote about it. But the media in Ghana decided to ignore it. Why? Because their enemy's enemy is the president today. So we're going to take a short commercial break. Music break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to our guests on phone, and we're going to also hear their view on this PDS scandal. You're still listening to Loud Silence Radio. My name is Kevin Taylor, and this is the extended version of With All Due Respect from Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook on With All Due Respect page. You can also go on YouTube, subscribe to our page, Loud Silence Radio and TV Network, and you can also download our app on iOS and on Android. This is Loud Silence Radio, and this is With All Due Respect. Not hearing you. Welcome back to With All Due Respect extended version. We're trying to get Larry Dogbe on the line. I think we're having some technical problems, and the technicians are really trying everything possible to get him through. Hey, his technology, anything can happen. You know, he was on the line, he dropped. We're trying to get him back on the line. But back to what we're talking about. I've always said that we need to come together as a people. We need to speak on the issues. From what we just heard on that audio, you will understand that these people are taking us for a ride. Philip Ayensu, Gabi Otredakon, Bamti, Eduardo Kufo, and the rest, they're taking us for a ride. So I think the producer are telling me Larry is on the line. Hello, Larry.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Mr. Larry Dogbe. In my presentation, I was straightforward with the issues. I said Larry's Herald started the PDS. And to be very honest, I think you know more than most Ghanaians know. I have played an audio, which is from the Thriller and Manila WhatsApp group. Did you get the opportunity to listen to it?
Yes, sorry. First of all, good afternoon to our viewers. Is it our viewers or our listeners?
It's the viewers, listeners, and everything.
All combined. Okay. So I've had the opportunity of watching your last video, and also listening to was it a 1 minute audio?
Yeah.
I thought it was revealing, but I haven't had the opportunity to listen to the full audio to make a very definite statement on it.
Yeah.
However, I think that the little you played, I noticed the voice clearly, especially that of Gabi Asaro and Philip, and then Philip Ayensu to some extent, because I had spoken to Philip before on phone, and then Gabi and I had interacted quite extensively, at one point in time during the PDS investigation. Yeah. So I noticed those are their voices.
Yeah. So listening to this audio, I know you just said that you didn't actually get the last part of it, or not everything. I just want you to just share a little bit light on the whole PDS scandal thing. When you started it, how do you feel now? Because you did a lot of work on this, and it's looking more like it's not getting the necessary attention. It got some attention to a point, but now it feels like people were involved in this PDS scandal. The energy minister actually came out to tell us that PDS was fraudulent. The government themselves came out, the information minister. But look at the events unfolding till now. Do you think that we are not giving this the necessary attention? To me, it is the biggest scandal to hit Ghana.
Yes, sir. It is. It is. It has. It's not just Ghana here, but it has an international dimension as well. Which is our dealings with America. It could also go to a very large extent to affect, the economy sometime next year, as we approach the election. It also, talks about our commitment to the rule of law, and also, paints a certain damning picture about the fight against corruption. To some extent, also, it has to do with, greed, nepotism and everything. It's a story that has, so many dimensions depending on how you look at it. And it's very disgraceful. To sum it all up.
You just talked about greed.
As to whether or not we are doing something about it, the person to do the thing about it is the president. And the president has his family and friends in there. The president has his family and friends in there. And so, Kelvin, who is to take the action? Is it the Minister of Energy? Who is the appointee of the president? Who is he going to fight? The family members or the president himself?
Okay. Larry, you talked about greed.
Yes, sir.
When you talk about PDS, a lot of names come up, but there are some names that we can't forget. Names like Kelly Kajibo, Benjamin Esson, Gabi Otredakon, Ken Oforiata, Philip Ayensu, Kut, Baumia, and the president himself. How do we connect these dots? Because from far you could see the connection, but when you get close enough, it turns out to be a different story.
It's not difficult at all to connect. To start with, all you need to do is to check the background of the various companies that took part in the transaction, and then you discover the names, the owners, the directorship, and everybody who is involved in there. You notice the political connection. You see the businessmen involved.
Do you think it's very deliberate on the part of the president to ignore this PDS scandal? Because he hasn't actually made any, the first time he spoke on PDS when it started crumbling was in Angola. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. The first time the president actually spoke on PDS was in Angola.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he went all the way to Angola.
Yes, that's true.
To speak on PDS. Do you think he's just complicit in the PDS scandal? Do you think?
Mr. Taylor, I think that the president hasn't been fair to Ghanaians, particularly the people who gave him the mandate, the people he begged. I remember writing one of those stories where he was begging. Now listen, try me and see. I think that he has not been fair to Ghanaians in any way. Because the national asset, as strategic as the ECG, cannot be handed over to your family members. And even if
I think we lost Larry on the line. Okay, Larry's back.
Hello, Mr. Yeah. I'm here. I'm saying that he has not been fair to Ghanaians. He has not been fair to voters. I remember, he during the 2016 election or campaign, begging that listen, try me and see. I will offer a different perspective towards the governance of this country. I won't be corrupt, and then I'm not corrupt, and I won't be corrupt. And so, if a national asset as strategic as ECG is being handed over to a certain, group of people, and then there is this fallback or there's this backlash or something, what you need to do is to respond to whatever questions Ghanaians will have here. You don't dash all the way to Angola and speak about it, and that's there.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
So he's not done, no press conference. He has not answered anybody. he says the deal had been terminated, and then that is just it. And so we are supposed to be happy that it's been terminated. What about the monies that the guys got? How were these monies utilized? The other day I was reading about how, certain checks were issued, and then when they went into the account of ECG, there's no money there. There's no money there because the PDS people had creamed everything.
Yeah. So
okay. Again, there's a moment. Again, they made certain appointments when PDS made certain appointments. Now, when the change happened or the termination happened, those officers are supposed to revert to their previous position. They have refused to return to those previous positions because for them, you can't vary the conditions of their employment.
Yeah.
So again, we have a certain situation where the laws of this country, or certain arrangements, certain disorganization had happened, and nobody is ready to correct it.
Yeah. Larry.
Now, Kevin, again, yeah. Finally, you have the finance minister who, when this whole thing happened, was in the U.S. He issued a statement, or Kojo Oppong-Kuma, the information minister, issued a statement, in his name, that when he comes down, he is coming to address the press conference on the PDS. When he came, he rather went on Peace FM and then City TV or City, FM, just to speak to the PDS issue. And for the understanding of it, or the moderator's understanding of whatever it was that was happening, or whatever it is that had happened, was that was the kind of questions that they put before him. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Instead of opening up, the floor for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to question him as to, hey, what exactly had happened here? Nothing of a sort had happened. No press conference, no critical questions. So who is answerable to who? Is the government or the president answerable to the people of Ghana?
So
who gave them the mandate?
This brings us to the issue of, are the journalists in Ghana doing enough? Because I think, to be very honest with you, people like you, you did your best, you did your digging, you did your research, you brought the story out. But what I'm seeing is, I don't know if it is deliberate or it's an agenda, but PDS is a huge scandal. And it looks like nobody gives a hoot about it. They just don't want to talk about it. That is my problem. How do you see your colleagues approaching this? Why do you think this is happening?
Mr. Kelvin, I think that there are very competent journalists in this country. Very, very tough guys who do the critical questions and then write the very critical stories. But sometimes the environment, the environment is,
The environment. No, when you say the environment, are you talking about the weather? Are you talking about what are you talking about? No, you said the environment. I want to know, is it the weather or the environment? Like how?
I think I hear that at the point in time, Christ spoke in parables.
So you are Jesus now, right?
No, I'm not, and I can't be him.
Yeah, I understand.
The environment is some way, and other times too, it depends on how the media house wants to be seen.
Yeah,
do you get it? I was having a conversation with somebody a while ago who made mention of a certain thing that the country seems to be stagnant.
Yeah.
The country seems to be stagnant because either the journalists are not writing, the kind of things they have to write just to spark a certain social, to get the society to appreciate exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
Because, we approach stories differently. Somebody could approach it based on, what he had seen. Others who approached it based on what he had heard. And others could also approach it based on, the interpretation of the two, what he had seen and what he had heard, and how that is how all these are likely to affect, the situation of the country. So it depends on who is writing the story and what message he or she wants to put across.
Yeah.
But
So finally,
I can tell you, we have a very, some very critical journalists here, and whether I don't know whether they want the country to move. I don't know whether they love the environment the way it is now, or they are expecting a change in the weather.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a change in the weather.
A change in the weather, not the environment. So finally, before you go,
I'm saying that I don't want it to be raining all the time.
You want some small sunshine.
Exactly. I want sunshine as well, because then I have to dry up my clothes if I wash them.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Then if the weather is too, warm too much, also that also will carry its own, implications. So we are writing for various reasons, and
now, are you trying to say that journalists in Ghana today are scared? They're scared to die? Because, sometimes you just have to be straightforward with the issues. For some time now, a lot of journalists have gone through a lot. We've seen journalists being shot in the head on the streets.
Yeah.
Do you think when if most of the journalists are scared they don't want to get themselves involved in these murky situations, or it's just that they don't also have that confidence in the system? When I say the system, maybe the security agencies to protect them when they decide to come out with such a scandal, or just follow up, ask questions and demand reasonable answers. You think there's this fear amongst the journalists in Ghana to follow up on PDS, to ask questions?
I think there is fear, not fear of being hurt or being being killed, or I won't say that, but there's a fear of isolation.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a fear of being isolated. I mean, the journalism front is split. We carry, that baggage of Herald is writing. Herald is, has been tagged as belonging to a certain political party or something of the sort.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
And so then another paper is also tagged as belonging to the other, party that Herald is not supposed to be. But I mean, Mr. Tiller, let me tell you, and to our viewers and our listeners, that I went to journalism school, funded by my mother. No political party funded me.
Yeah, that's
when
right.
I was in journalism school. And so when I was taught, I wasn't taught by a certain lecturers who were, let's say, wearing political color. And some of my mates who were taught equally in the same classroom with the same material, the exams that were put before us, it was the same, and we had to justify our certificate.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, as to why I approach stories in a certain way and why I get called a certain name, well, for that, nobody can, I don't have any control over that. But I think that where I sit, I do the work, I approach my work to the best of my ability, and all the others who are working on the Herald, they approach the work to the best of their ability to, for the social change. Any society which doesn't change itself, or, that doesn't welcome a change, is bound to collapse. And like I'm saying, why would we have a situation where national assets ended up in the pockets of the president's family and friends, and we are not talking about it? Kevin, let me put something to you. Listen,
I'm listening.
If PDS were to be done by, Anas Armeyao Anas, I'm sure he would have been all over the place. The journalists would have called him, and the media houses, TV, and all that, and so on and so forth. But because it was done by Larry Dobe, and the Herald. And even when we started sounding the alarm, we spoke to some of these guys. When the story came, after the story had broken, they will now call a certain minister to come and sit in their studio, and then he is the one they are questioning. They don't question you. Even when you give them that, listen, the man is lying. This is what he's supposed to say. This is what he had done. This is what he's telling you, but this is what he had actually done. They tell you that, listen, you have too much information. Please, we are not interested.
Yeah, you're right. So,
yeah,
at
they
this
are not
point,
interested. So,
sometimes it becomes difficult, when we people like you bring out stories and your fellow journalists decide not to push it. How do you feel? Let's just back to PDS. Do you think that this should not end now, and that people should be held accountable? People should be held accountable because there's enough evidence to call people in, to question them, prosecute them, because from the evidence that has been thrown around through credible investigation by your outfit and from my side and from other places, do you think that this does not have to end yet? People have to be questioned on this.
I think that people have to be questioned. And let me tell you something. The PDS, the president or government wouldn't do anything if the opposition doesn't give them enough heat.
Correct.
Exactly. So I'm not sure if President Mahama was to hold a press conference on PDS. He hasn't held any press conference on PDS. If he was to hold press conference on PDS, tell the story as to where he left this whole arrangement, this concession agreement, where he left it, and how, the succeeding government messed it up to an extent that we have been disgraced internationally in the eyes of the Americans, in the eyes of all the other countries, and so on and so forth. And say that, listen, when I come into office, I'm going to make sure this whole thing is investigated. President Mahama would have changed the narrative by now. The same way he's spoken about soft strike.
Yeah. He was very quick to come out on that. And
yes.
He should he should have that boldness to speak on PDS too.
Anytime he's talking about PDS, he's dance around the thing. Let's be blunt, man.
And if the opposition can't let the people know that they can, in fact, investigate this, if they are given the opportunity, or prosecute people because it's a national asset, then what business does the opposition have?
Governance is not what the government does. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Governance is not just what the government does. Governance encompasses what the opposition is doing to keep government on its toes. Governance has to do with what the courts are doing to keep government on its toes, because there's something called judicial review and many other things that, under administrative law, one can talk about. Governance includes what the media is doing. And governance includes what, some various actors. And I'm saying that President Mahama, who is standing election next year, if, he should have held a press conference by now and tell the whole world, guys, this is what we were doing with this, ECG concession. This is where we took it, and this is where we left it. This is where Akufo-Addo's government came in. And this is how it was messed up. But when we come back, we're going to ensure that every cent that was taken out by whoever is accounted for before we proceed any further. Calvin, I'm sure that will change the complexion or will change the narrative of this country. For now,
and I believe that.
I'm sure NDC is helping Ghanaians to forget about it. Or is helping the MPP to forget about it. And I'm telling you, I am being blunt. This is how I practice my journalism, or we have practiced our journalism. President Mahama hasn't effectively communicated on this.
PDS matter. So what alternatives are you giving Ghanaians?
Yeah, so
Tell the country that, guys, I am going to investigate this thing. And whoever is at fault will be dealt with. There's Akufo-Addo would have spoken like that. He would have spoken like that. And I'm sure we'll still have been dealing with PDS. I remember Woyome very well. Songs were sung.
yeah,
Demonstrations were held.
nationwide.
Many things have gone on. NDC is stuck on press conferences. Every day press conference, press conference, press conference.
The opposition, so
Listen,
from your
I'm
point, the
saying that-
opposition is not actually doing enough because
There's more to do. There's more to do for hope, for courage. Because, I mean, your children are involved here. My children are involved. Unless, of course, somebody wants to tell me that I'm not Ghanaian enough. And that maybe I'm from, Western Togoland.
West. But yeah,
But
you
if
just
I'm
you just
not-
brought something up before you leave. Actually, we have an exclusive interview with the Western Togoland.
I don't want to be part of that.
No, I know. I'm just telling
Excuse me.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling my listeners because they have to. We need to listen to them too because it's very. I'm going to talk about it before I end the show. But before you leave, what do you think? Do you have any project coming up? Are you still looking into PDS? I know you don't normally like to talk about your investigations and your stories and all that, but in a nutshell, you still going to be following PDS? Do you have anything new coming up?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, Larry?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I said finally before you leave us, are you still
Yes, I can.
are you still working on a new project? Are you still looking into PDS? Because with me, I keep telling people who listen to me with all due respect, on radio and on TV, I keep telling them that I am not done with PDS. PDS is a national asset we need to go to the bottom of. You started this whole PDS investigation, credible investigation.
Yeah.
We brought the facts out. We also picked it up. We made Ghanaians know the truth. Do you still have something new for us in the future? I'm just asking. I know you don't put your stuff out, but do you still have something around PDS before you leave? Quickly. I think we lost
Okay, this one. We'll come back to the story, the whole story. No, I'm here.
Yeah, I can hear you now. All right, I think we lost Larry. Okay, so that was Larry Dogbe. He's the editor, the Herald newspaper. He actually spoke on the story. I decided to speak to him because he actually started a PDS investigation as a journalist and as an editor of Herald newspaper. He brought a lot of information out. Actually, he motivated me to do this story. After I read his first piece, I was like, there was something in there I needed to follow. So these are the kind of journalists in Ghana sometimes we look up to, we follow, and they write credible stories. And it shouldn't just end there. Like I was speaking to him, why are journalists in Ghana so quiet today? Why are they not speaking? Why are they not asking questions and demanding reasonable answers? Why should it always be about one specific topic? Why should we be always condoning people, honorable? Or why are we not asking them questions that will make them uncomfortable? These are the kind of people that we need. He has done his part. And I don't think it should end there. I don't think so. I think we should push. We should make sure people answer questions. This is PDS, for crying out loud. This is PDS, for crying out loud. I think Larry's back. We're just going to wrap it up with him, and then we move to our next guest. Then we can read some few comments on YouTube and on WhatsApp. Larry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so basically, I was just saying that before you leave, are you still working on PDS? Do you have something new coming up? And then what do you want Ghanaians to do from now? Do you expect Ghanaians to be putting more pressure on the opposition, or be putting pressure on the government, or be putting pressure on the necessary on the right institutions to make sure the SP is there, the special prosecutor is there. Nothing coming from that
special
office.
Prosecutor told us the special prosecutor told us that he can't investigate PDS. You remember that?
Yes.
So I think that aside Ghanaians, the opposition should be organizing, should be sending across the right message.
Okay.
And I'm saying the right message is that President Mahama should tell us that, listen, guys, this is where I left PDS. Sorry, this is where I left ECJ, the concession agreement, and this is where the MPP took over, and this is what they had brought up on it. However, when I come, we'll make sure that this is investigated and every CD is accounted for. I'm sure that statement will change everything.
Okay.
Beyond that, I mean, I don't know where we're going. But for me, where I said there's more to tell about PDS. There's more to tell about, and maybe in the coming days, we could.
Thank you very much, Larry. That was Larry Dogbe, the editor of the Herald newspaper. He actually broke PDS scandal the first time in Ghana, and we're grateful for your time. And we'll be getting back to him. I know, as far as PDS is concerned, he's one person we need to be talking to because he started this whole PDS story. We will take a short commercial break, and then when we are able to get through to our next guest, who is a young lawyer, very, very, very outspoken lawyer, Edudi Kujo Tamaklo, a private legal practitioner with special interest in white-collar crimes. You know, PDS has a lot of white-collar crimes in there, and we would love to speak to him, hear the legal part of the whole PDS scandal and what he thinks we should be doing as a country to make sure people are actually ask questions, and we the people also demand reasonable answers. So after this short music break, we're going to try and see if we could get lawyer Edudi Kujo Tamaklo on the line. This is Loud Silence Radio. Us live on our radio app, Loud Silence Radio. Yes, we want to make sure that you, the listener, fellow Ghanaians, everybody is part of this conversation. That's why we brought everything on radio, on TV, on YouTube, so that we could all have a discussion, an open, honest discussion on how to move our nation forward. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the time and read some comments coming from people watching us across the world, man. So many messages, so much. This is coming from Felix Gospel Mix Ajaho. Congratulations, Kevin. This one is coming from Nana Kobena. Please, with all due respect, it seems you have technical problems. Yes, this is the maiden edition, and these are machines, and this can happen. But you know, I saw people commenting that the sound keeps going off. We decide to mute the sound anytime I'm offline, because we don't want to be playing music out of our territory. So what we try to do is, anytime you see my picture offline, you see the whole thing goes mute. It is something that they're working on, and I think in the next episode all these things will be corrected. So it's not a technical thing, but it's a tactical thing. There are two things here. That wasn't technical, that was tactical, because we're trying to protect our rights and the rights of other people. Suleiman Abdul Salam says, please, with all due respect, it seems you have, I read it already. Desmond Edu said, guys, note that we are all intelligent and we all want to be useful. We need to ask questions to understand what is going on. We want to know the truth, so we need answers to understand. Or be ni ej ajete, we will chase and torment them till they all have been jailed. Prince Akwe says, you are really doing well, my brother. Thank you, Prince. Alice Mensah says, and even the president himself is involved. Suleiman Abdul Salem says, Kevin, use virtual private network VPN connection for your calls to Ghana. If not, these government agents can distract all your calls. Thank you very much. This is coming from Sandra Hattika. Hey, the battle is the Lord's impo. The battle is the Lord's impo. Lesson well learned. Angelo George says the Lord's ampa. Richard Kofi Agor, Suleiman Abdul Salem, that's exactly what they are doing. Alice Mensah, true Ekufuado has not been fair to Ghanaians. Adumadu Clint Kwesite, I'm sorry if I don't get your name perfect. I am sorry if I'm not able to get your name perfect. They're quite tiny. I'm trying to read as much messages as I can. Ekufuado is an arrogant man and does not respect Ghanaians. Suleiman Abdul Salem said Richard Kofi Agor, nice one. I'm going to take one from Alice Mensah. I'm going to take one from Edumadu Clem. A lot of messages. Efimbikwe says the environment. He laughed. Yusuf Amin said, Mr. Kevin, you are really doing a great job. Thank you, sir. Abdul Rahman says, great job, Kevin. Mick Fool says, great job, Kevin. Adumadu Clement Kwete, the reason why most of the journalists are quiet is that hypocrites, elderly people in Ghana like J.J. Rawlings and many other people are supposed to be talking against it today, and they are all quiet. Richard Kofi Agor, Larry is making a very good and clear point here. Siped _ Huddle, they say he is right. The opposition is not doing anything on PDS. A lot of messages coming in here. As Segmi Steven says, Ghanaians, we are naturally born selfish. I'll take one from Bilal Nyame. Even chiefs join politics. Amagana. Sandra Hetekasis. She was responding to Efemi Kwe. Is that how you see it? So many messages. We very, very grateful for the contribution. A lot of people online sending messages. I'm trying to read everything. I'm trying to read everything before we close for the day. This comes from Bilal Nyamise. Boss, I believe the journalists are afraid of sabotaging and shut down their TV and radio station. Yeah, he's trying to say that journalists are scared because when they try to speak on issues, their TV and radio stations will be shut down. Akusia Boahen say, Sylvia Daku says, sound. Yeah, we've worked on that. Robert Dafie say, Kevin, great job. Keep it up. Samuel Asante Nuro, Kevin, you need serious people to manage this for you. You are failing boys sound. No commercial came through. Come on, pay the right people the requisite experience and knowledge to help you out. Thank you very much, Samuel. I will be very happy if you could write us a check and that this will run very smoothly. This is coming from Marion Van Dijk. A criminal group of companies are ruling Ghana. A lot of messages coming in. We are very, 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 very grateful to everybody who listened to us today. In fact, this is the maiden edition of With All Due Respect Extended Version, and we had lots of people paying attention to the issue. This is just the beginning. Scandals upon scandals are filled We have scandals, my fellow Ghanaians. And I never come on my show to victimize people. I never come on my show to intimidate anybody. We only come here with the facts. That is why when you listen to Loud Silence Radio, we tell you we separate facts from noise. Here, you're going to hear whatever you've never heard before. This is where you have to come and listen to the real facts. My name is Kevin Taylor. This has been a successful episode. We had a little bit of hitches, but we know the next time we're going to get everything right. This is the Made in Edition, and I'm very grateful. We are very grateful. The Ghost Production. You can't mention their name. No, they are called the Ghost Production. They've done a marvelous job. One is on the phone, one is in-house, and they are doing a great job. My fellow Ghanaians, this is the time you have to be bold and speak truth to power. This is the time we have to put aside our political affiliation. Who is who and who is what? We have to make sure the national agenda is our main priority. We have to speak truth to power. Ask them questions. Force them to give us answers, but not just answers. They have to give us answers that are reasonable. The youth of Ghana are ready to ask questions. The people we give power to have to answer questions. We are not going to just let any individual, group of people, cartel, criminal entities who have found their way into our government system to destabilize our country. We are going to lift ourselves up, move forward, and be the Ghana we've always wanted to be. I've always said that I'm just a messenger without a Quran or a Bible in his hands, a messenger who is bold, honest, and ready to speak truth to power. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be listening to Loud Silence Radio. We were transmitting live. We have been transmitting live from the DMV areas, just opposite the State Department in the United States of America. Here, we don't play. We say it as it is, and we're going to make sure we give you what you've been yearning for all these years. My name is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor, and this is With All Due Respect.
Time or the other, from one person or another. What's your pedigree, they say? Fame is not for free. That differentiates the people that drink tea from the people that soak it. Last I checked,